Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of what's now called What Mark Spins. This is my vinyl collection series where I go through all my stuff A to Z here, and today I'm going to be doing the first half of the Bees. Let's get this thing started. First record I'm going to be showing you guys is Band of Skulls, Himalayan. Now, I didn't get around to doing a full review of this album, but you guys might remember this was one of my favorite albums of 2014. Definitely one of my favorite rock albums of 2014. I actually first got introduced to these guys at what I've said is my favorite concert of all time so far, when I saw Muse in 2013. These guys were opening for them. It was before the release of this album, but I picked up their album Sweet Sour that came out before this and loved that. And this just tops in all areas for me. These guys have always had incredible album covers so far. They have an incredible track record, especially with like the gatefold here. I feel like there's something that really any hard rock fan could like, even some like psychedelic rock elements, and I feel like I use this as an argument a lot, but it doesn't feel like revivalism for the sake of it. It's like these guys just are continuing it in an awesome way. I mean, there's a song on here called I Feel Like 10 Men, 9 Dead, and 1 Dying that goes in a surf rock direction, and there's an accessibility to it where I think that really anyone can get into it. So yeah, Band of Skulls, if you're into some really great UK hard rock, get into it. Next thing I'm going to show you guys are my Beach Boys records. So this first one it was advertised to me as All Summer Long, the album that features I Get Around and Little Honda, which is a pretty underrated song by them. There must have been some mix-up with the little record stand that I went to get this, because when I played it, it wound up being a version of their album Summer Days and Summer Nights that was retitled California Girls when it was re-released, and then I read into it on Wikipedia. It's a really weird, like, label politics story, and you can tell that the version they released of it was kind of like this cheap reissue thing, because the audio quality on this record is not very good. Like this is one of those records where on every track you find that you either have to turn it up or down. But I do like having one of these old surf rock records to throw on during the summer. So yeah, Beach Boys All Summer Long, or California Girls. And the second Beach Boys record I'm going to be showing you is 15 Big Ones. This was actually in the original record collection that my dad handed down to me, and this is not exactly one of their more well-known albums. This is from the mid-70s, I believe. But I do think there is some really good stuff on here. I mean, it has their cover of rock and roll music, which a lot of people hate for some reason. This isn't really a really essential Beach Boys album, that's for sure. And you could tell this is when they were starting to die down a little. But, it's worth checking out if you can get it for cheap on vinyl. Next up is my 12-inch single of the Beastie Boys, Too Many Rappers with Nas. Not too much to say here, just a really fun, upbeat Beastie Boys song, latter-day Beastie Boys song from, I believe, 2009. I picked this up recently for like $5, and not really too much to say. The B-side has the instrumental and acapella on it. And, yeah, Beastie Boys, Too Many Rappers. Next up, of course, are my Beatles records. First one being this 45 of Yesterday. I'm not quite sure if this is an original pressing or if it came about later on, but if it is, then this is definitely my oldest 7-inch in here for sure. Not my oldest record, which I'm going to be getting into later in this video. But, I mean, Yesterday, classic song, obviously. We also got their Blue compilation for their 1967 to 1970 stuff. Kind of like a double compilation of the stuff from Sgt. Pepper to the end of their career. This is personally my favorite era of theirs, where they got a lot more creative and did a lot of their more groundbreaking stuff, which leads to the last one here, Abbey Road. Now, this is a case-in-point example of why I strongly suggest people go to record stores if they want to get into old music instead of streaming it. Because just the idea that I found this for $3 somehow. And if you take a look at the sticker there, I guess it was originally 50 cents, which is crazy to think that was probably the normal thing for something like this back in the day. But anyway, politics, economics. I think it's between this and Sgt. Pepper for my favorite Beatles album. I kind of go back and forth, but yeah, you really can't go wrong with basically any song on this. I mean, the Beatles have been talked about to death. I'm not really going to try to add anything to the discussion. Real quick, next up are my Beck records. First one being I Just Started Hating Some People Today. This is the record he did for Third Man, Jack White's label. But the song itself was great. It was kind of like Beck's initial comeback before Morning Phase, because I believe this was from like 2013. And then there's my 12-inch of Dreams, his latest single. Now you guys might notice I didn't do a Record Store Day Black Friday video last year. And that's just because this is the only thing I got. It was kind of slim pickings for me. But yeah, like I said in my Amoeba video, I would have no problem with him making an album as poppy as this, if a song like this is any indication. I love the packaging that went into this thing, like this translucent blue vinyl. And the cover, you can't really see it obviously, but with these little doodles and the text and stuff, if you run your hand over it, it like comes off of the record. It's really cool. And the last record I'm going to be showing you guys today is my only comedy album, actually. Like I said earlier, the oldest record I have in here, Shelley Berman, A Personal Appearance. Obviously picked it up because of the namesake. This thing's from 1961, I believe. And when I picked up a 55-year-old stand-up album, I kind of expected something that was charming enough but kind of dated. But no, this is actually pretty timeless, I gotta say. Something that I see more comics doing today than before. Kind of focused on being very nervous and awkward about the smallest things. Case in point, probably my favorite bit on this thing is when he's talking about when you see a speck of dust in a glass of milk at a restaurant, and like the little measures you'll go to avoid drinking it that just get gradually more and more desperate, and it just gets funnier as it goes along. I'm not going to name off all the bits here obviously, but there's one about a hotel that's pretty hilarious. Commercials that don't actually sell the product that they're advertising very well, so much to just throw random images in your face. I don't really have much else to say, but it's kind of cool to have a really funny stand-up album in here. Yeah, Shelley Berman. Check it out. And that's the second episode of What Mark Spins. I hope to record these on a semi-weekly, maybe bi-weekly basis. We'll see. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.